The village was quiet that morning, not because the people were still asleep, but because something felt wrong. The birds were silent. The dogs refused to bark. Even the trees seemed to lean away from the old Whitmore house that stood near the edge of the woods. The house had always been strange. No one remembered when it was built. It was not on any official map. The roof was broken. The paint had peeled off long ago. Still, the family inside acted like nothing was unusual. The Whitmores were not like the other villagers. They never attended church. They never visited neighbors. Their children never played outside. People whispered that something was strange about them, but no one dared to say it out loud. The father, Joseph Whitmore, rarely spoke. He walked slowly, always looking at the ground. His wife, Eleanor, wore the same dress every day and never smiled. But it was the children who scared everyone. They all looked the same. Pale skin, dark. Hair, gray eyes. They did not blink much. They never laughed. Teachers said they could not be taught. They sat in silence, watching, always watching. One day, a new teacher arrived. Her name was Mary. She was young, kind, and believed every child could be saved. She was warned not to visit the Whitmore house, but she ignored them. She walked into the house one morning with her bag and a smile. Hours passed, and days. One saw her again. When people asked the Whitmores about her, they said she never came. A few days later, a hunter in the woods found her shoes near a strange stone circle behind the house. There were no footprints, just the shoes, neatly placed side by side. After that, no one went near the Whitmore land. Then came the storm. Thunder shook the village. Trees broke in half. Roofs flew off. But the Whitmore house stood still, untouched. The next morning, the house was gone. Not broken, not burned. Gone. The ground where it once stood was smooth. No grass, no roots, just dirt. The villagers tried to forget. Years passed. New houses were built. Children were born. But late at night, people still saw strange lights near the woods. And sometimes they heard whispers calling their names. A man named Thomas decided to find out the truth. He was a historian. He believed in facts, not ghosts. He dug into old records, visited libraries, spoke to the oldest villagers. He found a photo from 1910. It showed a family that looked exactly like the Whitmores. Same faces, same clothes. But the date made no sense. That would make them over 100 years old. He found another photo from 1845. The same faces. No changes. It was as if the Whitmores never aged. Thomas went to the place where the house once stood. He brought equipment, lights, cameras. He set up camp. That night, he heard footsteps. But no one was there. His camera stopped working. His phone died. Then he saw them, the children, standing in a circle, not moving, not blinking. He tried to speak, but his voice failed. He ran. When he returned to the village, his hair had turned white. He never spoke again. The villagers said he had seen the truth. They burned everything he left behind. But one notebook remained. In it, he had written one sentence again and again. They are still here. In 1952, a team of scientists came to study the area. They called it a psychological anomaly. They said the villagers were creating false memories. But one by one, the scientists left. Some returned home and quit their jobs. Others disappeared. One was found in a motel room, writing symbols on the walls with his own blood. The government closed the case. The land was marked restricted. No one was allowed near, but some still go. Young people looking for adventure. They go at night, laughing, taking photos. They never return. Their cars are found, keys in the ignition, engines still running. But no bodies, No clues. Just the same symbols scratched into the trees. Some believe the Whitmores made a deal. A long time ago, when the village was new, a sickness came. Children were dying. Joseph Whitmore went into the woods and returned. With a cure, his children lived, but the price was high. They would never grow old. They would never leave. They belonged to the forest now. The villagers tried to stay away. But the forest grew. Trees moved. Paths changed. Soon, the edge of the woods reached the school. Then the church. One day, the mayor's son vanished. He had been playing with friends. They turned around for one moment. Then he was gone. No sound. No scream, just silence. His toy was found near a tree with gray bark and no leaves. It was the same tree that had once stood near the Whitmore house. People said it was a warning. Others said it was too late. The forest had chosen a new child. The town built a wall, tall and strong. They placed lights, cameras, guards. But at night, the cameras went dark. Guards fell asleep without reason, and the wall began to crack. One by one, the villagers moved away. Shops closed. Schools shut down. The church bell rang on its own. Only a few people stayed behind. They said they had nowhere else to go. They said they were not afraid. But their windows stayed closed. Their lights stayed on. And they never went outside after dark. A boy named Daniel lived with his grandmother near the edge. She told him never to go near the woods. She told him stories, warned him with tears. In her eyes, but Daniel was curious. One evening, he followed a light. It was soft, blue, and floating. It moved slowly, deeper into the trees. He followed, thinking it was just fireflies. He did not see the figures watching him. He did not hear the whispers. He was never found. His grandmother left the village the next day. Her house burned down that night. No one knew how. The fire left no ash, no smoke, just a black mark on the ground. In 1987, a filmmaker named Richard came with a crew. He wanted to make a movie about the legend. He interviewed the old people, recorded the stories. They told him to leave. He laughed. He said he did not believe in ghosts. On the second night, his soundman vanished. Then his camera girl. Richard tried to leave, but the road was gone. Just trees all around. He ran until he found the village again. But everything was different. Houses looked older. People wore old clothes. A man said the year was 1912. Richard screamed. He was found wandering the highway months later, holding a broken camera. The film inside showed children with gray eyes, standing in a circle, smiling. He was placed in a hospital. He never spoke, just stared at the ceiling, whispering one word, Whitmore. Now the land is silent. No maps show the location. GPS fails near it. The sky darkens faster there. Animals refuse to go near, but sometimes lights appear. And if you listen closely, you can still hear them. The Whitmore children. Waiting, watching, calling.